What is going on, everybody? It's the Daily Fantasy Hitman, and I'm back at you with another League of Legends breakdown. Today we got a spicy 4-game slate, 2 games out of the LCK and 2 games out of the LPL, so let's get into it. Starting off with the betting odds. First matchup we got is Hanwha Life Esports taking on Nongshim Red Force. And these odds look awfully close, so if I were a betting man, I would smash this Hanwha Life Esports. I would take this spread right here, minus 1.5 plus 120, but hey, that's just me. Let's move over to the matchup. Okay, things that I'm looking at here. Nongshim Red Force 4-8 in the LCK, currently sitting in 8th place. Hanwha Life Esports 7-4, sitting in 4th place, sitting pretty. Let's go look over who has a side selection or blue side advantage here. Hanwha Life, two times on that blue side. Let's go over to Game of Legends, Hanwha Life. Let's see what they're looking like on the blue side. Uh-oh, spoiler alert, really good. 11-3 on the blue side. Compare that to 5-10 on the red side, and wow, this series really changes with Hanwha Life on that blue side. Let's take a look at their opponents, though, before we get too ahead of ourselves here. Nongshim Red Force coming in with a 4-11 record on the red side. You compare that to Hanwha Life, and this matchup looks kind of like a blowout to me, so I'm not seeing why the odds are that close. Now, they could be accounting for the fact that Hanwha Life removed Morgan from the jungle, or not Morgan, Arthur from the jungle recently, and brought in Johan. I am not especially impressed with Johan, but I believe it was more they didn't want a jungler who was making as many mistakes as Arthur. Arthur is coming from Oceania, so I don't know. I didn't really see it working out to begin with, but hey, we'll see what happens. The good thing about this one, they do release starting rosters, starting lineups before lock. So make sure to check that out. Usually they announce them around 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you're looking for an account to follow, go over to here. Go over to Twitter and look up Korizon. Korizon Esports. Korizon. They will announce starting rosters, preferably at around, like I said, 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sorry for the burp. Not sure if you heard that one. But let's move on to the next matchup. We got Gen.G versus Live Sandbox, and this is an easy 2-0 for Gen.G. I'm really not going to talk that much about it. I'm just going to do this for you. Gen.G Esports. They also, take a look at this, blue side advantage. That's not good, because Gen.G's 11-5 on the blue side, whereas Live Sandbox is, 2-12 on the red side? Gen.G, that's a sweep, my guys. This is the one thing, though, if you're playing daily fantasy, Gen.G's 7th in the LCK in terms of combined kills per minute. They don't really love to run the stats up. They don't really like to pad them too much. Hanwha Life, on the other hand, does. So if you're looking at one of those series, I wouldn't really look at this one too much. I'd more look at this Hanwha Life versus Nongshim, personally. Now let's move over to the LPL, because those LCK matches are done. Okay, over in the LPL, we got E-Star versus JDG. Come on, take a look at these odds. Minus 1,400 for JDG. And guess what? E-Star, they're taken out. They made that change from the mid lane, from Irma to Insulator, and he's already out. So, clearly this team is just, I don't know, this seems kind of clueless to me. I mean, I watched their game versus Rare Atom. I mean, the second game, they had like this massive 4 or 5k gold lead. They managed to lose it in like 5 minutes. I mean, the team is absolutely ass. And the fact that they're coming in here with a 2-9 record versus JDG, who's fighting for that top 6 spot right now. And guess what? Yeah, no, never mind. E-Star has side selection, but yeah, I don't really care. We do know JDG, though, to play down to some of these lower tier opponents, though, so I would beware. Buyer beware, okay? Because JDG could make this one a lot closer than it needs to be. I'm going to give JDG the 2-1. Nah, actually, the 2-0. Yeah, I don't think E-Star can win a game there. But this last series, this is the one that I think is really spicy. V5 has side selection here. Take a look at things like this right here, Victory 5, Season 11. We're taking a look at things like V5, 4, and 7 on the red side. When they go to blue side, 8 and 6, with notable wins over teams like WE. They beat RNG, they beat BLG, they beat all these teams while they were on blue side. So it really does make a big change for V5. And a lot of people are going to dwell on this right here. This O2 versus LNG, okay, where they were on blue side twice. I understand. It doesn't look good, right? Especially with me saying that they, blue side advantage, yada, yada, yada. But the fact of the matter is, it takes two to tango, okay? Okay, it takes two to tango. And let's take a look over at Suning. Suning, let's not forget this team. They are coming off, okay, that's not bad, 8 and 6 on the red side versus 3 and 4 on blue. But we can't forget that this is a Suning lineup that, take out those those last two series where they swept, right? And you're talking about a team that was just 3 and 5 with a 7 and 10 game record, okay? Now they have prettied that up with the recent two sweeps over IG and TT. But yeah, they're both pretty impressive. I'm not gonna knock the hustle, okay? But we got to look at things like this. This is an extremely close series on paper, and I think you can tell that by the odds as well. Suning minus 275, V5 plus 200, and then you look at things like this. Early game rating. I see V5 coming in as 7th in the LPL. I see Suning 3rd worst in the LPL. Things like, oh, well, they're going to scale on them. Well, no, Suning only 2 places above V5. They're within 2.4 points of each other. Goal difference at 15, extremely close. First blood, extremely close. First tower, actually, in V5's favor. First 3 towers as well. Herald percent, things like this. One of the more important things, Baron control rate. Suning 48%, V5 52%, okay? So this series on paper is extremely close. And personally, look, like V5 is in a transitionary period right now, okay? They took out their ADC Y4 and they're replacing him with Trigger, okay? And we're bound to see growing pains, and I think that's what the O2 versus LNG was. They maybe had some bad communication, things like this, right? Now look at this though. Trigger, that was only his 2nd series in a row. Now, he did have that win over E-Star here. Oh, wait, no, this isn't even updated. Yeah. V5 played, my bad. V5 OMG was his first series, I believe. Anyway, I hate when they don't update that shit. But, yeah, V5 OMG. OMG was, so he played E-Star, and then OMG, and then the LNG series. Okay, so actually that's 3 series. But that overall, that's 6 games? Obviously it takes more than 6 games to get acquainted with your teammates, right? I mean, you might be practicing all this, but the stage nerves are a thing, stuff like that. But that win over OMG, we saw things like Lang X. I think it shows in his match history. Yeah, here we go. Lang X was playing very safe, very smart League of Legends, and this guy's a very dependable veteran, okay? And he is facing a guy in Bin from Suning who plays extremely aggressive, almost to a fault sometimes, okay? So the fact he can absorb that pressure, I assume. Weiwei is a very good, rotational jungler. He's always across the map. He likes to play things like Udyr, which is comparative to SOFM, so same type of junglers here. Mole, we're comparing him to Angel. They both like to play control mages, things like that. Huanfeng is definitely better than Trigger, but the fact of the matter, I think people are going to be too hyped on Suning, especially when we're seeing these types of stats from Suning. Like, here's another one. Combined kills per minute, Suning 3rd worst in the LPL, V5 6th in the LPL. Things like that. V5 likes to take those fights to you. And I'm not sure if Suning can handle that early aggression. And I think that, end of the day, I think V5 wins this one 2-1. I think Suning does put up a really good fight, and I think these games are really close. but I think that blue side advantage, I think that having that fourth game in a row would trigger. I think things like that are really going to matter here. So let's go over the final picks here. I got Hanwha Life 2-0 over Nongshim. I got Gen.G 2-0 over Liv Sembox. I got JDG 2-0 over E-Star, and I got my dog pick V5 2-1 over Suning. If you want to check out my full DFS breakdown, where I offer my my favorite DFS picks and things like this, check me out, patreon.com/DFS Hitman. I'm offering that for $20 a month. Great time to sign up. It's the only the 4th of March. You could still get about 26 days out of that $20 subscription. It's pretty good. But if you don't want to pay for anything, hey, just give me a subscription on YouTube. It's totally free. Helps me out a lot. Helps me keep making these videos. And hey, let's have a fun night tonight, everybody. Let's get that money. Good luck.